Now, to hear anything back on the speakers, we have two sets of speakers. We have the small ones, which are on A, and the big ones, which are on B. And all you have to do when you come in here, other than turn everything on, is you'll want to click one of these monitor selects, and an audio monitor means speakers. So you pick which pair of speakers you want to listen to, and then this gray thing controls all your volume. They call it the Mackie Big Knob, because it's a big knob for your volume there. So if you want to hear the white speakers here, you click A, and what's great about this is we're just incorporating surround sound here at the college. So we now have a subwoofer on here, and so these have a lot lower bass, and speakers behind you here. But of course you'd have to have it encoded for surround sound. And programs like Pro Tools, which we have in Sound 2, are able to do that. Also other applications like Digital Performer or Logic. But you guys are just going to be clicking this and turning up the volume here. Nice and easy. So what's neat is, if you wanted to assemble something, you just take any of these loops and you drag them up. Now there's two ways to do this in that you can see how it's going click, click, click like that? Well, this is great when you want things to line up for a song if you're doing music, but we don't just do music and animation, we also do, of course, sound effects. So this button here is pretty important. It's called the Snap to Grid button, and you can just go Command-G to turn it on and off. And you guys are going to want to use this, because when you're using your QuickTime videos, you'll drag and drop them right here, and they'll show up right along the top. And then you're going to want to line up this stuff here. So if you're lining up sound effects, you'll want to have the Snap to Grid off. So if you wanted a certain crash, you can bring them up here with a glass, and there's another one here. And you'll notice that a lot of the professionals, when they're doing their sound, they're layering. They're doing a lot of layering. And you can see where these line up, right? Can you see this? How that crash right there doesn't line up to measure 3? Well, with that Snap to Grid on, you can just take that and slide that right there. And it has a little zoom button here, so we could zoom in, and you can see, if I put these right at measure 3, see it says measure 3? And then I can line them up. And then all these tracks have a separate volume control right here, panning control to put it in the left or right speaker. And then if you wanted to record something, you could by hitting the record button on the left. If you'd like to shut off a track, you can click on the mute button and it turns it off. And if you'd like to only hear a track, like if you just want to hear this metal crash here, you'd hit this little headphone icon, and that's going to be the solo button. Then it also has a little one here to prevent you from making changes, and if you try to, it stops you and says, hey, that track is locked. And then we have our basic volume automation here. Volume automation means it's recording the parameter changes. So you could click that right on here, add a node, and fade in any track. Pretty nice. So having access and knowledge of where the stuff is at is key. So if you ever just want to come into the lab here and start checking out where these are at, or going in room 704 and just sitting down, boy, it just makes things a lot faster. So a lot of times if we want to do something like a crash, like I said, we would take this Snap to Grid, which is under control, and we'd turn that off. Why? Because in an animation, you're going to want to take this and you're going to want to scooch it right where the character's shooting the gun, or right when they throw the bottle against the wall.